All right. Greetings and welcome back once again. Greetings and welcome back once again. This is Amuna, and I pray everybody is doing well. Welcome to the conversation. Welcome to the conversation. We're about to get back in. Artists, welcome, welcome, welcome. We're about to get back into this Marcus Garvey real quick and right quick. Leah, welcome to the conversation. How's everybody doing today? How are you doing? So, yeah, I'm trying to remember. It's been a little minute since we read some Marcus, but the last time we checked on them, all I know is madness. Madness, everywhere, all over the place. All right. They were in court once again. Oh, yes, now remember. Jenny, welcome. They bust in. Marcus sent the SWAT people to bust in on Amy, and they found her with Mr. Harrison. Was it Mr. Harrison? Oh, no, Mr. Harrison was the ghostwriter. They found her with one next man. It was just beer confusion. Beer confusion. Listen, let me just keep going. Amsa, welcome to the conversation. Amsa said greetings from Jamdong. Enjoy the visit. So, what was I gonna say? Yeah, so we're gonna go forward. What did I ask the question? Is Amy and Marcus twin flames? Or are they just toxic, right? So I'm on page 99. We're still in the chapter A Woman Scorned. Amy Ashwood and Marcus Garvey had several traits in common. They were both excellent public speakers and organizers. Both were well-traveled. They were both endowed with charisma, for Amy, too, was able to attract a following. I think I read this, so we just backtracking it up. So let me start. I know bring the water. Hold on for me 1 second. Jerry, welcome to the conversation. Hold on 1 second. I'm just run this real quick. Oh no, hold on. I'm gonna go get some water. I feel my throat. All right. Thank you for your patience. All right, make we go on now again. So the writer is saying that Ashwood and Garvey have similar traits. As we see, both are hashtag petty, right? It says, for Amy too was able to attract a following, if even not as spectacularly as Marcus, wherever she went. One important trait that they shared was resilience, we could tell. The capacity to bounce right back after adversity. And so Amy went on with her life, doing new and exciting things and biding her time for renewed assaults on Marcus and Jake. Amy's like, sure, I take a little break and go do my thing, yeah. But don't get confused. When the time come, I see that again. She made her debut at this time as an author and producer of stage productions, thereby gaining for herself a small niche in the history of African American musical theater. Her collaborator in these efforts was Trinidadian Sam Manning, now well on his way to becoming a more durable paramour than fashion plate Guy S. Johnson, St. Croix born Harrison, Guyanese Fraser, or Barbadian Alan Cumberbatch. Sorry, or Jamaican Garvey for that matter. Did he just name all of the paramours? Dang, Amy. Did he just name out all of your love interests? Not Cumberbatch. For Manning would do what no other man had been able to do, and what no other man would ever do. He would become a near permanent amorous presence in Amy's life. Uh-oh. So he's saying that Sam Manning, I had a picture of him because I was prepared to do a little conversation about Sam Manning when we first started, but they took so long to get to him. So we're going to have to learn a little bit about Sam Manning. So he's saying Sam was able to tame the Amy. Hey. Hey. He would become a near permanent amorous presence in Amy's life for nearly 2 decades and a reoccurring presence thereafter, right up to the end, quite literally, of his life. Now we got to see who was the man who was able to tame. Hold on, we're going to have to pause for a second now. Who was the man that was able to tame Amy after all of her antics? Hold on. Let's see here. Before I had his picture, don't tell me I accidentally erased it. Let me get his picture real quick. I think I had it up there the day that I was going to do it, and then I wish I'm gone. Y'all don't want to see all of these pictures I have to do, all of these graphics I have to do for these shows. Okay, I can't find it. Where's I'm gone? Give me 2 more seconds. See me. All right. So, did Amy number 1 get a new Manning? Y'all like that, right? So, this is Sam Manning here. I had to change it for a little bit so we could get a little close up. I got a little close up. Did Amy number 1 get a new Manning? And according to what we're hearing, she was able to settle down, simmer down. She was able to simmer down a little bit. It says by the time that, oh wait, let me read a little bit about Sam. Hold on. So Sam was born in 1898. He was a Trinidadian performer and songwriter who was one of the earliest calypsoans to achieve international acclaim. He worked as a chauffeur and jockey in Trinidad, so you know he had to be short, and British Guiana before traveling to London and enlisting in the Middlesex Regiment during World War I. He then served in the British West Indies Regiment in France and the Middle East. After demobilization, he began organizing concerts and toured the Caribbean as a vaudeville entertainer, singing calypso songs and performing comedy sketches. And I got a little song. It should be out of copyright, so can't nobody claim it because it's way past should be in the collective commons by now. But it says in the early 1920s, he moved to Harlem, New York, where he performed and recorded music that combined jazz and calypso rhythms. In 1924, he recorded OK and Paramount record labels, and his music became popular with Black American audiences as well as expatriate West Indians. He made his first Broadway appearance in 1925 in John Howard Lawson's play Processional. His song Lieutenant Julian commemorated the 1929 transatlantic flight by Trinidadian Hubert Leroy Julian. Manning became increasingly associated with radical political causes. His companion was Amy Ashwood Garvey, who had been Marcus Garvey's first wife. Ooh. She produced Brown Sugar, a jazz musical production at the Lafayette Theater that featured Manning and Fats Waller and his band. So he was early on breaking into the music industry and bringing Caribbean sounds that we know it's an infusion of West African sounds and different sounds, but he brought calypso to America. So it may be Amy may have liked the fact that he's accomplishing these things. I don't know. I don't know what was able to calm down Amy, but nonetheless, we glad that she got somebody to calm her down. Hold on, let me see here. We're gonna hear a little. You could. Okay, nah. Somebody got ads playing on it, so they're probably gonna try to claim it. So let me just keep going. You definitely could look him up on YouTube. Here's one of his recordings and take a listen. I took a listen. It was quite interesting. So let's continue. Amy, let me find out. Let's continue now. It says, by the time that Harlem's weekly paper got around to reporting the trial, Amy was already on her tour with her first production. Wow. Amy Gampan tour. Hey, hey, a musical comedy. It had debuted on November the 8th, 1926, with a limited run at Harlem's famous Lafayette Theater on 7th and 132nd Street. The plot revolved around two husbands, Sam, played by Sam Manning, and George McLean, who were both thrown out by their respective wives. I wonder who wrote this, Amy. They took their search for new spouses to Africa, where they set out to match the rib from which their women were made. In the unclear language of the New York Amsterdam News, in Africa they succeeded in matching the ribs, but the quote soulmates end quote thus discovered turned out to be their wives, who had serendipitously preceded them to the continent. Oh no, they didn't. So why would you kick them out, run to the continent in front of them, only to be okay? Okay, it was entertainment. Let's continue. The reviewer from the New York Amsterdam News commented that Sam Manning and George McLean, as the two dissatisfied husbands, are certainly a scream. So she probably liked him because he was funny. It had debuted on November the 8th. Oh, we already read that. Manning's West Indian dialect keeps the house laughing all the time. The reviewer considered the plot good, something that he could not say for many contemporary comedies. He also liked the singing of Alberta Prime and Evelyn Ray. Their hits ain't no good in the best of men nowadays. Did they have a song in 1926 that was named Ain't No Good in the Best of Men nowadays? Now y'all know I'm gonna have to, because it's all about let's stop making alternative facts. Ain't no good. And who wrote this song? Hold on one second. I might have to look up this afterwards. Who wrote this song? Oh, snap, they got the song. Hold on, let me hear it real quick. All right, indulge me, everybody, because this is what makes it come alive, right? You can't just be reading. We in the time on the internet. So let's hear this song that was featured. Ain't no good in the best of men nowadays. Let me see what's going on here. Who found this song and uploaded it? Let me hear what it sounds like. Oh, snap. Did y'all hear the opening? Okay, we're not coming for nobody, but were the great great grandmothers singing, all men are all the same. When you think they love you, they will put you to shame?
It's just like a man. He'll fool you if he can.
Did she just say it's just like a man? He will fool you if he can. Didn't we just speak about this? I believe it was yesterday. About how things have changed or if they have even really changed. Well, this is 1926, and this is almost we're 98 years later, and you have musicians singing similar lyrics. 98 years later. Let me listen a little more.
Everyone calls you hum when he wants to have his fun. He says he loves no one but you, and nobody else will do. You think
Okay, basically, she's speaking about him finessing. She's speaking about him finessing you. He'll tell you you're the only one because he wants to finesse you. See, it came right back around. We talked about this yesterday. Grandma is going in. Grandma is going in. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Let's continue. There's nothing new under the sun. Let's continue.
he's fine, fooling you all the time. There ain't much good in the best of men nowadays. And if you kill them, you'd never change their
Oh
ways.
man, I'm gonna just stop right there. She went in. She said if you went to the extreme, they still wouldn't change their ways. Mm, Boy, we might have to break down this song another time. Let me continue so that I don't get too far off track. But that was Jerry said, long time carelessness. That's what my point was yesterday. It's not a nowadays thing. It is if you listen carefully, you will hear a natural mystic flowing in the air. I'm sorry, I couldn't resist. I had to drop some bob in there. Let me continue. Oh gosh, let me continue. Ah, let's continue. Ah, blessed be your name, Most High. Okay. Their hits ain't no good in the best of men nowadays and gotta know how to love were well received by the audience. All in all, he concluded, Mrs. Garvey's first venture into the theatrical profession seems to be a success. So Amy was probably like, Garvey, you think say me a one trick pony? You think say me have to follow back at you? You think say me have to fight Amy for man? That's probably what Amy was over there saying. And so she goes into a whole different avenue, right? And establishes herself over there. Where are we here? All in all, okay. Among the show's major attractions was Sam Davis, Cleaver monologist and eccentric dancer, father of the best-known show business personality Sammy Davis Jr. Oh, that's interesting. So Amy is in a show with Sam Davis, who would later become the father of Sammy Davis Jr. Interesting. Hey Hey, with its cast of approximately 25, 40 in some reports, hit the road after Harlem, attracting large crowds and receiving enthusiastic reviews in such places as Pittsburgh, Columbus, New Orleans, Chicago, where the natives of the West Indian Islands and the theatrical fans of the Chicago packed the Grand Theater. So Amy is on the road. Okay. Amy is living it up. And where's Marcus? I think Marcus is in jail. Hold on. Marcus, I know Marcus must have been getting this news, and I don't think he liked it. Is Marcus in jail by now? I think he is. I think they got him on the mail for. Yep, he lost his appeal in 1925. I think Marcus is in Atlanta by now, while Amy is hitting the road. I'm trying to see. Yeah. Yeah, they broke into Amy's apartment in 1925. Okay. So Amy's not letting nothing. Ain't no stopping us now. She's like, ain't no stopping. You broke into my apartment. I'm going on tour. That's what Amy said. Let's continue. It says here, all of these cities were major strongholds of Garvey's organization. Once outside Harlem, Amy and Sam modified the production into what the New Orleans States call a howling burlesque of her husband's dream of empire. It's, few wives get financial support from their husbands' mistakes. This paper commented, but the wife of the colored dreamer is an exception. So she parlayed the whole situation with Garvey into success. She said any press is good press. So she took it and went on the road. This was February 1927. Garvey now languished in Atlanta Federal, I thought so, penitentiary, would be deported from New Orleans later that year, never to set foot in the United States again. Mm-mm-mm. Sam played the role of Garvey, or was more correctly the mimic of Garvey. Did she? Did she get Sam the Jubby to play Garvey, to mock Garvey in her play? Amy, the level of petty, Amy, the level. Sam played the role of Garvey, or was more correctly the mimic of Garvey, as the New Orleans States described his portrayal. Any doubt as to the production's main purpose of ridiculing Garvey was dispelled by its full road title of Hey Hey, We're in the Jailhouse Now. No, sa Amy, no, sa Amy. Wait, mm-mm. Garvey's rise and fall are clearly shown, said the Pittsburgh Courier, and his various ideas relative to such things as kingdom in Africa, sailing vessels, are used as opportunities to present dances, songs, and the like, as for instance in the courtroom scene in one of the acts. Yo, sis ain't have no chill, fam. A prison scene concluded the show. This was one of the two scenes in which Amy inserted herself. Amy's fury, exasperated by Frazier's debacle and her most recent court defeat, now knew no bounds. So she was pissed and she was like, I'm about to. She Saturday Night Lived him. Okay, just imagine Saturday Night Live and the scorned woman is the one who wrote the skit. Merciful Father. Hear me. A sub-headline from the Pittsburgh Courier said it all. Amy Garvey, consumed by fires of vengeance, tells of lack of sex appeal of UNIA leader in sensational interview with Courier reporter. Hey, hey, her play is a burlesque on his life. Did she? Ah, boy. I don't think I can co-sign this, Amy. This gone too far. This gone. Debbie, welcome to the conversation. Lala, welcome. This gone too far, Amy. This gone too far. This gone too far, Amy. This is some TMZ. It wasn't enough that you made a whole play about him, but then you're gonna tell the people them in bedroom business, Amy. This gone too far. The Courier's, quote, sensational interview, end quote, was actually mostly commentary on a written statement which Amy released to the press. She claimed now that the real reason for the breakup of her marriage was Garvey's inability. Are you ready for this? Hey. Amy say, because Garvey couldn't satisfy her. One man can't satisfy her. She need more wood for the fire. You remember that tune then? I Win, back in the day. Yeah, Amy, what was going on here, darling? The Courier reporter, one Delos Johnson, veered between exploiting the lurid aspects of the story and interrogating the wisdom and validity of Amy's charges. He quoted extensively from Amy's own words. He was not hostile to her, but seemed to think that her own exuberance left her in somewhat an unfavorable light. You think? Because you putting his business out there and you putting your business out there, Amy. No, chill, bro. Where's your dad? Where's your brother? Somebody needs to come talk to you. Amy raised a question so delicate, quote unquote, he said, that it excites the hilarity of the hardened, furnishes food for the ladies' knitting society of Song Bottom, arouses the purity crusaders, and glory be even penetrates the pretty little bobbed heads of flappers. For the curiosity aroused concerns the most vital subject known to man, the question of sex. Garvey was now in jail, he reminded his readers, but put there by the government's, quote, fine legal minds, end quote, who were able to prevail over Garvey's apparent sincerity and unsophistication. Surely this was enough of a cross for one man to bear. What is there about the man Garvey, he wanted to know, that would make a woman knock and mock and leer at him even after time, circumstance, and mistake had measured for her against him poetic justice with his very dramatic accoutrement? That's what I'm saying. But then what came back to my mind? He kind of scandaled her at Liberty Hall in front of his peoples. Remember? A couple of chapters ago, it spoke about how he would use his platform to talk grimy about Amy. So this may be her lick back. She ain't get one lick back. She was trying to dun him. Dun him. But I can't go back there and look right now. But he was using his platform to talk about their personal business, right? He tried to understand her case. Here was the brilliant Amy Ashwood Garvey, he mused, the wife of his youth. She had stood shoulder to shoulder with the man, watching him rise from obscurity of a Jamaican plantation. Jamaican plantation? His father was a bricklayer. To the leadership of thousands of fanatic race folks the world over. And like another Josephine, it was she who found herself out. Hold on. In the cold, while Marie Louise, in the personality of Amy Jakes, because remember, we went over the whole Napoleon situation. He married two Maries the same way, and he put away the first one. But in the personality of Amy Jakes, Garvey's former secretary was made first lady of the land that was to be. Marcus and Amy built the movement together, he thought, a perfect pair, the veritable body and soul, respectively of the UNIA, the twin flames. Okay, this is, if I'm not mistaken, this is the author reading into what could have brought them to this point, right? Amy had even hurled herself in front of a would-be assassin's bullet for Garvey, but none of that answered the great quandary, to wit, why does not, okay, that's before the contraction. So why does not Amy Ashwood Garvey leave Marcus alone? Why does not Amy leave him alone? She won't stop. Okay. He is in the jailhouse now, as she puts it, and is likely to stay there for some time, he reasoned. So is that enough? That's like hitting a man when he's down. Solitary, or maybe she vexed because he left her in Panama, or he stopped writing her. It's like she really has an axe to grind. Like she has a vendetta against this guy. Who knew? I didn't know until I started reading this stuff. He's in the jailhouse now, as she puts it, and is likely to stay there for some time, he reasoned. So, is that not enough? Solitary confinement, a steel cot, bread and water, and he wasn't in the best of health, right? Her refusal certainly does suggest that Garvey holds some power over her, which makes it impossible to forget him and throws her in the stress of those sinister emotions that grip and overwhelm a personality. So it's kind of like today we see somebody, some celebrity who must, I don't know who we could think of, who broke up, but they have no chill, and every opportunity, in every interview, in every space, they're always like throwing dirt on the ex-partner's name. I can't think of anybody off the top of my head, but you get it. Why does not Amy leave him alone? Amy says she can't stop, she won't stop. He now let Amy speak for herself, and she spoke from her press release as follows. She more than kicked him when she karate chopped him. She suplexed him. She old school WWF him, jumping off the top of the ropes while he's on the ground, jumping off and giving him, just every single thing that she could imagine. Like, Amy, chill. Come on. Some people may, but then again, literally the year before, if we're gonna be honest, he raided her apartment. It's not funny. The year before, he raided her apartment. So I guess every time he pushes back. So, I mean, if we're going to be fair, I don't think he's not provoking her. I just think now he's not in a position to fully provoke her, right? Some people may wonder what is the cause of so long and bitter a fight. That's what we're trying to figure out, Amy. Extending over a period of years between Marcus Garvey and I. She talking for herself, no. Power driver. That's what I was trying to remember. She power drived it off the top of the ropes. Back of it all, beyond the little tiffs, I'm trying to figure out what she called little tiffs. Beyond the alibis on both sides stands the alarming fact we were not mated. Garvey knew nothing. She gonna tell you what her problem is. Garvey knew nothing about sex life, she said. He might have been the greatest propagandist in the world, shots fired. He might have been the king of Africa and even won my heart, but he lacked the ability to hold my love. Amy said, it never did that work. Amy has no chill. Amy has no chill. Mm-mm-mm. And now, after years of bitter fighting, now that I'm able to cast a retrospective glance into the past, I realize that this simple question, she says, of intimacy has perhaps changed the destiny of a race. Now look on this woman will look like she can't mash and story. That's why you cannot judge a book by the cover. She has said because their personal bedroom situation was not satisfactory, she decided to mash up the whole thing, game bun, open up bakery, right? And start make cocoa bread. Okay? She says, some may say I did not love and I'm purely physical. I contend that in so far as sex mating is concerned, if it is mutual, then there is a spiritual contact before the physical. And some insist that there is much more to be demanded and desired from the former than the latter. It is so in some cases, she says, but she's convinced that this feeling is fully shared only by persons passing through the period of senile decay. Did she say it? I don't know what to do with this lady, fam. Mm-mm. Mm-mm-mm-mm-mm. Having spoken up for the physical side of sex over its spiritual side, the refuge of life period of senile decay, Amy now drove her point home. She identified the insatiate desire to satisfy sexually as the crowning aspiration of human life. Amy is in her lower self, bro. Because if that's the case, where are the man for Amy? If you didn't know this before, cause you did a game bun before. So you didn't know this before? Me no know, Amy. Me no know. Me think you just one game, one last karate chop. The French attitude to sex was her ideal. Why was there less desire for divorce in France than anywhere else? She asked. It is because the Frenchman is not a liar, she answered. He knows he is a temperamental, polygamous animal, and he says so. Are we serious, sis? Germans, Englishmen, and Americans indulge too much in beer, roast beef, and pork chops, respectively. She philosophized. Yo. The French wife, on the other hand, knows that too much beer and roast beef and pork chop is bound to react with indigestion. Hence, she pays more attention to the entree. Here again, as in her lawsuit against Dolin Detective Agency, that's the one that with the bossing panel, and elsewhere, it is hard to imagine that what would possibly have been going through Amy's mind. She practically proclaimed herself a nymphomaniac with her insatiate desire to satisfy. Merciful Father. Just what Mrs. Garvey means by the entree, we do not know, lamented the reporter. Perplexed, perhaps it was her answer to those who had accused her of promiscuity, you think? Or perhaps it was another name she has for the summit of that mountain of love, quote unquote. They're quoting her now. She spoke of in a letter received by Dr. Hubert Harrison, well-known race author and lecturer. This was, of course, the famous letter from Amy to Harrison when we read that like a couple of sessions ago, where she got caught in claiming she was writing the biography, but it was really the Harrison dude, and she was trying to lure him to be on her team and trying to get a house to put him in for $300. Where are we? This was, of course, the famous letter from Amy to Harrison, produced by Harrison during the divorce trial of the previous month, and still fresh in the public mind. Johnson quoted the relevant passage, "My dearest, the tender embraces, the meeting of lips with the climbing of the mountain of love is truly an art," end quote. Hold on, let me see where we at. All right, I'm going to read to the end right here. In his efforts to understand Amy's reckless display of vengeance, Delos Johnson provided an interesting view of Hey Hey. He reported that Amy herself readily admitted that her creation was a burlesque of Garvey. The main character, Marco Garbo, did she? She called the character Marco Garbo, was a philanderer and confidence trickster whose indiscretions landed him in the jailhouse now. The player's high point of humor was the pathetic fall of Marcus Garvey. Johnson speculated that Amy might have told her former husband's life in his ridiculous manner for mere mercenary gain. She was like, oh, Marcus, remember, she kept trying to get the money. She kept trying to get the alimony. She kept trying to get the spousal support, and Garvey refused to give it to her. Right? And so I guess she figures, yeah, Amy's off the chain. I guess she figures, well, Marcus, if you ain't going to give me the money, then I'm taking the money. So she uses his image, makes a show, laughs him to scorn all the way to the bank. I know chill mega kashi. Yet that seemed insufficient explanation for the vitriol of her attack. He concluded that it seems more logical to attribute the birth of her brainchild to the fiendish glee based on a relaxation to an obsession that cried for an outlet. He also found a contradiction in Amy's portrayal of Garvey as at once a philanderer and unable to satisfy her insatiate sexual appetite. Before providing his final analysis of what seemed to be at work here, Johnson provided pen portraits of the three principals. First, there was Amy Ashwood's a temperamental disposition is written over her countenance. Her eyes blaze of fire. Let me look good in our eyes. Intelligence lights her whole expression. She suggests our conception of a high priestess who has sacrificed her offering and failing to see the sign of approval from her deity knows not what to do. I think I'm going to stop here because what in the world? Yeah, we're going to stop right there. Amy, son. No, man, this are too much. This are too much. This are too much. I don't even know. Have we seen anything like this in modern time? I mean, you might have people who come out. Sorry, they may publicly go back and forth and argue with their ex. But Sis made a whole show and traveled the country and scandal him every opportunity she could. Now, I'm not saying Marcus wasn't doing the most because he was petty. The two of them match. The two of them did petty. But this are too much. This are too much. This are too much. This are too much. So, yep, we will rejoin. The next, they're going to be talking a little bit about Amy Jakes here and how she thought she was coming up. And then she ran right up into the middle of all of this madness. Can you imagine? She's like, yes, she'll go get a man. And you know what I mean? And next thing you know, this man is bare confusion. I agree, Dr. Charles. She wanted to take the little last bit of his manhood, literally. She wanted to pull him down off of the pedestal. She wanted to deface him in the. I mean, it wasn't enough that he was in jail. Like she wanted to dun him completely. Come on, Amy. I mean, come on, Amy. Let's just say Amy doesn't have a forgiving spirit. It's not funny. Amy does not have a forgiving spirit. Let me check these comments here, and then I'm gonna go ahead and wind down because that was a lot to think about, Amy. What don't make any sense to me is if we look back, when you thought he left you and you heard nothing of him. That's why I say I think something happened. How did she sustain in Panama, right? How did if her father left and she didn't have any money and she had issues? Did she go into a certain type of work that started her down this trail? Like, where did this insatiable appetite come from, Amy? You understand what I'm saying? So it does it sound like revenge? It sounds like yes. It sounds like revenge. It sounds like they were both tit for tat, but you know when somebody goes too far? Because I think equally so, it wasn't like she was just coming for Garvey, coming for Garvey, coming for Garvey, and then he just sat there and he was Mother Teresa. He wasn't saying nothing. Like he would hit back, but then it went too far. It's like below the belt, literally. You know what I mean? So I think that she took it to different heights at a point where he couldn't even push back anymore. You know what I mean? At which point it's not a fair fight if that's what they were doing. If that's what they were doing. But it makes one want to think what happened to her that caused her to develop such an insatiable appetite, such a desire, not only to just go from one place to the next without a care. Like she doesn't care. And now we see her trying to judge the people for judging her. Merciful Father. Did she name the play, Hey, Hey, You in the Jailhouse Now? Yo. Blessed be a name. They do say it's a thin line between love and hate. It's a thin line between love and hate. It's a thin line. And I guess Marcus messed with the right one. When she came back, did she come back for revenge? Like, I got so many questions. You came back and then you did all of that. And if you knew what it was, then why did you marry him? Only for y'all to not even make it 6 weeks. So y'all already knew that it was an issue. Right? So Marcus he's also partially to blame for just making bad decisions when he felt bad for her or whatever it is. And like, Marcus, you knew what it was, Marcus. You knew. Yeah, this is Lee Walker. This is beyond women scorn. Sis took this joint to a new level. I don't want to hear nothing about these modern day women no more, man. The men be like, yeah, and the modern day women and our great grandmammies never did that. And I'm like, oh, they never did that. Speaking of which, I'm just in. Let's listen a little bit more to this song before I go. Who else wants to hear the rest of this song? That's it's just a few. Ain't no. Let me listen to the rest of this song. Hold on, real quick. I'm just curious as to what else they were saying in here. See, if you don't know history, people could run game. And you'd be like, yeah, it's true. And then you go pick up a broken paradigm that didn't work the first time because somebody out here convincing you.
It's so disgusting some man who cannot stand your praise.
She said it's so disgusting to keep on trusting. Strong language.
You find bad men, good men now and then. It's best to break 'em and shake 'em like you've been, for it pays. Now there's a reason for this curse. Adam went wrong and he was the first.
No, she didn't. She said the reason for the curse was because Adam went wrong and he was the first. I know she trying to rhyme, but what in the world?
So there ain't much good in the best of men nowadays.
Back to the hook.
There ain't much good in the best of men nowadays. And if you kill them, you'd never change their ways. It's so disgusting just to keep on trusting in some man who cannot stand your praise. You find bad men, good men now and then.
All right, then the hook it just comes back again. I just wanted to make sure I didn't miss anything. For those who have just oh yeah, Bawani, you missed the whole thing. Amy took it to a new level. You might have to catch it on the replay. Amy went to a new level. Let me go ahead and see here. So that was the song that was mentioned in the book, and you know there are good men out there, but it's just going to show that behavioral patterns are not just limited to people, modern day people. This stuff has been happening. It continues to happen. There's nothing new under the sun. Delilah did the most. She was working for her peoples, you know. I'm trying to figure out, was Amy doing this just for her self gratification, or did somebody put her up to this? You know what I mean? Because she went in. Cherry, welcome. Kevin says, hence why he loves to read all the government surveillance files on Garvey unredacted. Yep. So yeah, with that said, everyone, that was a lot. I'm gonna try to see, y'all don't mind me. I'm about to do a little digging and see if I can find this play real quick. Because how does she have her new boo, Sam Manning, playing or spoofing her ex-husband? Wow, Amy. Wow. That's all I have to say. But with that said, let me go ahead and run this commercial. Shout out to everybody. I know I keep saying it, but for those who have read the book, please stop on by and drop a review so that more people can find the book on Amazon. Because for some reason it doesn't come up straight when you search it. So for those, and I haven't read Island Twist in a while, but definitely I'm gonna pick up on that as well. Just so much stuff going on, y'all. Got a lot of juggling, a lot of juggling, a lot of juggling. So I'm gonna play the Island Twist. It's just to remind you. Feel free to to do the review on that, as well as the Hey Pumpkin cookbook. It's available on Amazon as well. So I'm going to go ahead and play those two until next time.
Real quick, this is Amuna, author and storyteller, and I have a new release available on Amazon because I love writing and reading stories. This is a Caribbean American tale about love and culture. We have a young girl named Jackie, and she gets into it with a lot of frenemies and some other people that's trying to take away our rights. So go ahead and check out Island Twist, available on Amazon today. Now let's get back to the story.
And I keep saying, I shot the video for you guys, but I just haven't gotten around to uploading it yet on some of these recipes from the Hey Pumpkin cookbook. It would just be easier for me just to illustrate some of this stuff. So yeah, artists, I'm always doing a lot. I like to try to keep myself busy and active, take no time for granted and just do what's in me to do. You understand? So yeah, you're gonna learn that Amuda's always doing something. Always try to keep myself busy, stay out of trouble, But let's go with the Hey Pumpkin cookbook. Listener, all of this jokes and reading got me feeling a little hungry. Do you guys come with your snacks ready, or do you think it's time for an ital food break? The Russ and him Empress say, yeah, ital food break. So listener, this is Imuna, and not only do I read and write novels, I also do a little something something, well, a kind of big something in the kitchen, right? So I wrote this amazing Hey Pumpkin cookbook. Inside, pumpkin seed milk, carrot punch smoothie, listener, even jerk tofu strips. But the tofu is made from pumpkin seeds. So join me on a culinary adventure with the pumpkin seed as we explore the benefits of this green superfood. You already know potassium, zinc, it is loaded and highly beneficial. Again, a high source of iron, zinc, magnesium, vitamin E, and it helps boost the immune system. This book, as well as Island Twist, is available on Amazon today. So go on over and let's get back to the story. And one more thing, for those who've reached out and given their testimony about using, just some of the information that I've shared here, and they're able to find their family members, shout out to you. So artist says I would love to try it. I just don't cook. No problem. Pass it on to somebody who does. Pass it on to somebody who does. Each one teach one. Um, what was I gonna say? So shout out to those who have found some family members. I gotten some good feedback, and it makes, in addition to what I do what I do because I love to do what I do, but I love to hear when people are benefiting from it and the answers, their personal questions that they have for their own family are being answered, right? So again, if you have any questions or you want to know certain things, go on to openbookmedia.com. I've written a lot of things over there to help you along your journey as well, right? So with that said, everybody have a blessed day and we'll talk again. And don't forget to like and subscribe the video.